There we go. I had troubles going live. Hey everyone, welcome back. You missed me. Just remember that there is an event link in the description down below so you can see when I'm going to be live next. Next week is actually going to be a members live. So if you want to join us, all you have to do is hop on over to Patreon and make sure you get into the tier that has the member only live nights. And I think we might be doing Zoom. I need to get like a poll to see if everyone wants to do that or not. But either way, we're going to be doing something. But tonight we are going to be talking about I felt like we should talk about Taurus season that's coming up. I know that I've just been like into astrology a little bit more lately. It's because I'm interested. I'm learning about it. I'm passionate about it. And I like to teach what I'm learning at the same time, just so that I can understand it better and maybe teach something about it one day if I feel called to. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the energy that's coming in for like the next month. But honestly, it's going to be here for quite some time. And we'll get into that in a bit. But be sure to stick around, make sure your notifications are on, because we will have a new video going up this Friday, and that is actually going to be a vlog. I don't do a whole lot of vlogs. I want to do more, but a lot of my videos are kind of like how-to stuff, but this is actually a more personal kind of like behind-the-scenes vlog. Originally, when I first started making videos, I did not understand the difference between like a vlog and like a how-to video, and I called all my videos vlogs. Which I guess technically they are, but that's besides the point. We're going to be doing a vlog on the Sabbath, so that's coming out this Friday, so be sure to keep an eye out for it. I've got a timer set up for our members, so when it goes off, the person that comments closest to this will get a free reading for tonight. But I do have a group reading out. We are going to have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. So kind of tune in, see what you are attracted to right now. And I will get to it after I kind of go through my little Taurus spiel here. So, yeah, it's Taurus season starting like tomorrow, sort of today. But Taurus season is basically, anytime that we're getting into a new month, it's that, I think it's that the moon isn't, or is it the sun? It's the sun. Duh. The sun moves into another sign. Now, obviously, anybody born within the next month is a Taurus sign. So some of you guys might be Tauruses. But even if you're not, it still affects you. The energy kind of affects what's going on in your life. And why I'm excited for Taurus season is Taurus is all about, and I'm reading from my notes here, Taurus is all about income, routines, jobs, work ethic, money, material possessions, stability, and grounding. And I got this from like a podcast that I was listening to from somebody else. But one of the cool things about it being Taurus season is that we have technically, I don't quite understand it too much, but I do know that the moon kind of moves into, or it has a north node and a south node at all times. And this is like basically where it is in relation to the sun's orbit, or Earth's orbit. Sorry. I hope I'm right on this, but this isn't super relevant, but basically that changes every 18 months. And I think it was like this last February that it switched, and now our north node is in Taurus and our south node is in Scorpio. Before, it was basically in two different signs for a whole different year and a half. So point being, we are already in the moon's north node of Taurus, and then this next month we're going to be in the sun's sign of Taurus. And so it's just going to be a very Taurus time. And so I just wanted to bring light to this because I feel like it's a great opportunity to welcome more money into our life, more abundance, again, material possessions, jobs, work ethic. If there's anything in that realm that you're really wanting to manifest over the next month, but honestly, the next year and a half from February, when would that be? February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So like August next year, we're still going to be in this like Taurus energy. And really that North Node is all about like, what is this next phase of your life about? What's calling you? What are you interested in? So like you really look back at that year and a half and be like, okay, my life was all about work, money, jobs, all of that. And what's great about that is it can help you advance and move faster. And more importantly, it'll help you work smarter and not harder. So just something to keep back in your mind, even if you don't believe in it. I think that it's kind of nice to have something fun that's like, oh, well, maybe there's some magic energy in the air that will help me manifest the things that I want a little bit more. I'm not really going to talk about the South Node, but basically the South Node also like is impacting us at the same time. And this is basically past habits that come to light that we're still working on that need to kind of be sorted out. And because that's in the sign of Scorpio, that's going to be a lot about trusting your intuition and stuff like that. But if you're really interested and you want to know more about it, I would check out Chloe Taylor's podcast on it because she describes it way better than I do. But she put it out like last February. But yeah, so tonight's group reading, basically I wanted to ask, how can you guys bring in this abundance energy of Taurus season, and what's blocking you and what kind of needs to be more balanced? So again, I've got pile 1, 2, and 3 right in front of me. So if you need to take some time to pick out what that is, I'm going to flip them over. Hello, silly rabbit. Thank you for Taurus season then. Hello, Johnny. Hello, Laura. Hello, Angelica. I need my sense, Lauren. I know. All right. So I'm going to start with pile 1. If you haven't picked yet, you can press pause. Here, I'll give you a few more seconds and flip all these over. And I will say I won't be able to stay on too late tonight because I do have a really early morning reading. I had to coordinate with somebody that lives elsewhere, and I had to basically do 9 a.m. Oh, thank you, Laura. Laura, I will get to you as soon as the group reading is over. Let me write down your name so I don't forget. Hello, Taylor. Hey, Jana. Alrighty, you guys. So before I get into this also, I wanted to briefly mention, I know I've said it in a lot of my videos lately, but Patreon is back. Not back, it's new, but memberships are back. And if you guys want to be able to join those memberships, there's a link in the description down below. It's also on my link tree. And basically there's just a bunch of tiers that you can sign up for. You can get early access to my videos, which might be nice if you really get impatient for my videos. And then we also have a tier that I kind of loosely called like Pick My Brain, and it's basically coaching Q&A. So every month people are basically asking me random questions. They could be personal. They might be like more about just like psychic development themselves. Like somebody asked me today about how I use, I think it was meditation as a psychic development tool, which was a great question. I don't think I've ever talked about that before on my channel. So it's turning out to be a really cool thing where you guys are asking me questions that I haven't answered before. And when you sign up, you get access to all of those past videos. So if you want to ask me questions and you want to support the channel, you can go ahead and do so, especially if you're like, you don't need like a whole coaching session, but you're like curious about a subject. Especially because as I get more followers, I have a harder time keeping up with all of the comments, like across all my platforms, my Facebook group, Instagram, Facebook, where else am I? TikTok, everywhere. I get lots of messages, and I know that I'm not good at answering all of your guys' questions. I try my best, but it's getting harder and harder. So that might be a good place to go. And then obviously there's another tier where you get live nights with us. And then the final tier, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, you get like a group reading every month where it's like a really drawn out reading. And I think this next month I'm going to try channeling for the first time and record myself while I have like my little safe space on Patreon to do that. So yeah. That's Patreon. If you want to sign up, please do so, especially because we have a member live next week, and I'm really excited about it. All right. Otherwise, I will see you guys in like 2 weeks, I think, is the next live that I have. I'm totally tapping in these days. All right, so pile number 1. First, I pulled the goddesses cards, and I asked, what energy do you need to bring in this Taurus season, like, to its best? And I got Maya Illusion. And honestly, I think I know what this card is about. I might read a bit from the book, but like, I'm getting like how you bring in this abundance, this money, like literal, like Taurus is also about like luxury and like pampering yourself. Like, just think like high class vibes in a good way. And I feel really for pile number 1, it's going to be about getting past the negative illusions, the negativity that you have around abundance and all of this stuff coming into your life. I feel like a lot of you guys might believe your fears, and those fears can be illusions. But let's see what this card deck has to say. I decided I keep all my decks in here behind me, but every now and then I take a deck back into my house and I just kind of work with it for a while. And that way I can memorize them a little bit more, so I'm not avoiding using them. And this deck is next, 'cause these cards are just so pretty not to use. Let's see. And this is a very large passage, so I don't want to read it all. Okay, Hindu goddess of illusion, Maya, calls you to trust that the invisible world is responding to your deepest desires and intentions to make a better life for yourself and others. You are able to see through the curtain of illusions. Your clarity and intuition is heightened as your next steps are sure-footed. When the goddess Maya chooses to help you, trust that everything you need arises from your world with ease. So like exactly the message of your thoughts create your reality. So if you're constantly putting out fear and believing in this illusion that you don't deserve it or that you can't do it, you're going to attract it back. But using intuition and kind of having that clarity, I think that is the key to you guys manifesting all of this Taurus energy in the next month. Ooh, and then I asked what could be blocking you, and I got the mediator. And I'm kind of feeling like this is the energy of like people pleasing, not wanting to step on people's toes. Like you're trying to make it fair for everybody. So therefore you're not like saying, no, I demand more, because maybe there's a part of you that's like, oh, well, I can't make as much money as other people, or I can't ask for a raise because then all my other coworkers will be making less than me. Or maybe it's that you like serve clients and you're like caring too much about them and it being fair for them, but at the end of the day it's not fair for you because you're not putting enough like, money and time and energy back into yourself. I feel like you're trying too much to be a mediator and make it too equal, but because of that you're holding yourself back from some of these manifestations. And then the last card for pile number 1, I asked what needs more balance in this area of your life. And I got the 7 of Spells in this deck. 7 of Wands. Okay. What needs more balance? So normally this card, I kind of read it as like altercation, like fighting, like conflict. And I think, especially with the last card, this is more about sticking up for yourself, but also like making sure that you're not falling into like the drama or the distractions of work, like specifically. Because I feel like when you see everything as like a battle zone, it's a lot harder for you to bring in those manifestations because you're always like, oh, well, the world's out to get me, or what else was I going to say? I don't think there's any or there. I think it's like, oh, the world's out to get me. Everything is so bad. Again, that like mindset that's there. And I feel like if you're trying to people please or be the mediator, like there's too much focus on everything else and not yourself, pile number one. Like that's the big message that I'm getting. And I think also with this illusion card, it's when you're distracted by the drama and the negativity of others, and maybe it's not so much drama, but just being distracted by the things that aren't helping you manifest things, especially like money, jobs, all of that that's kind of Taurus related. I think it kind of inhibits you from paying attention to the things that you should be doing, if that makes sense. Hello, Karen. Hello, Jeffrey. Was just on Instagram looking for you. Yeah, we had dinner late tonight. I apologize. It was really nice out, so we sat outside and ate our dinner outside. All right, so pile number 2. Thank you, Johnny. Okay, so we're going to go back to Laura and then Johnny. Yeah, can't believe it about your book from the thrift store. If you haven't checked it out on my Instagram, I shared a story about this book. And I'll just give you a teaser. Which you're probably just like, all right, she wrote her name in a book. But that's not what happened. But yeah, that happened to me years ago, and I've always wanted to do like a little video on it. But I've always been like, how do I make this into a video and make it visually interesting? And I was just like, I just need to do it. All right, pile number 2, the future. So this card is basically what energy do you need to bring in this abundance of Taurus energy. And basically the future is like, what is your intention? What do you want for the future? As long as you have like a clear goal for the next month, for the next year and a half, or a little bit less than a year and a half now, but what is it that you want? And as long as you've got a clear goal, that's all you need to bring in this abundance. I'm not even going to pull for this. I think Skuld is a Nordic goddess, if I'm right. But this is all about the future. Like the opposite of this would be not having any idea what you want to do, having no vision for the future, having no intention, and you're just kind of sitting around waiting for life to happen. But I feel like as long as you don't go that direction, you're going to be pretty set. And then for pile 2, what is blocking you right now? Ooh, I'm not even reading these cards, but this is the athlete. And I immediately heard what's blocking you is like overworking, like overstraining yourself. Like when an athlete injures themselves, I think that's the biggest thing, is not working too hard and not burning yourself out. Because as long as your intention is there and your future kind of has like a why, it has an idea behind it, again, like an intention, and you're sending that out to the universe, it's going to be pretty easy for the universe to meet you halfway. Like, I feel like the one thing that I am getting with this whole Taurus energy is like, it's going to be a lot easier. We don't have to do as much. So if you're overworking yourself and overburning yourself and stretching yourself, you're just going to make it worse, because then you're going to need to take time off, and then you're going to start to doubt yourself and where you are. But for you guys, pile number 2, the biggest thing is going to be to pace yourself and understand that holding the vision is all you need. And then what needs more balance? 5 of Wands. So this card is definitely talking about like what excites you. Over this next month, you might get very distracted by doing things that you think you need to do, but not doing things that you want to do. So 5s are kind of like conflict and struggle. And I really feel like when it's in the Wands card, it's all about like, what are you passionate about? What are you excited about? And this is like the difference between somebody who's doing it for the wrong reasons and they hate it and they're putting out stuff anyway, or they're in the wrong job, versus somebody who's like, no, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I love it. And it's going to be about balancing that. It's about balancing the, oh, I have to do it because I have to do it, but also I need to do more of what I love, if that makes sense. So that was pile number 2. Put these away. You finally bought some spiritual cards, unicorn set and angel set. Nice. Which ones? There's so many out there. Hello, Elisa. They look so decorative. I love it. I missed which one you were talking about. Why do we need the cards? Can we do it without them? Yes, you can absolutely do readings without cards, and that's a big thing that I teach. I just like doing them because these help me memorize my cards, because I tend not to use them for myself a whole lot anyways. All right, that's Johnny's question for here in a bit. Pile number 3. What energy do you guys need to bring in this Taurus energy? Rebirth, pile number 3. I feel like you guys might have a little bit rougher time with it. I will say too, like, I know I'm spouting a lot of my astrology knowledge at you guys. I feel like I have to apologize for it, but I'm just so interested in it. And we've got our first eclipse coming up at the end of the year. This is the first time I'm actually paying attention to the eclipses. And apparently they can be pretty destructive, but also transformative as long as you're kind of like paying attention to it. If you want me to talk more on that, I can, but the rebirth card for this is really like, I'm getting the energy of like, pile number 3 really needs to shift things around if you want to see this money flow coming in. And one of the things that I've heard with astrology is that before eclipses come, if you can set the routines, set the habits, make the changes that you want to before it comes, it makes the eclipse season a lot easier. And so for you guys, let's see what it is that we need to change around. And this is what is blocking you right now. And I got the Lover card. I'm hearing for like a small percentage of you, this is making sure that you are loving like what you're doing. So that job, the security, all the Taurus related things are actually making you happy. But I honestly feel like this is loving yourself more for Taurus season. And like one of the things that we often skip with Taurus is routines. And when we talk about luxury, it's like, how do you pamper yourself? How do you put in the time and the energy to take care of yourself so that your cup is filled before you fill other people's cups? And I think what this is saying, you might be blocking yourself, is you're not giving yourself enough of that love. I'm also hearing for another percentage of you guys, it could be that there is a relationship that might be blocking you. Like there are some things that need to be flipped on its head. Maybe you have a partner that's not very supportive of you, or maybe they're just not on the same wavelength of you as you, and they kind of bring you down when it comes to like money and abundance mentality. So this really needs a shift, focusing on yourself, giving yourself that time and that energy. So what else needs more balance? Seeker of Spells. This is why I'm getting rid of this deck. Basically what I've been doing is I've been putting it in orders. I've been using it and then writing on them, using them for like candle meditations, and then I just toss them when I'm done. And I know that's bad, but I bought them on ALI Express, so they're really crappy quality, and they're really small and hard to handle, and I just didn't resonate with the deck. So trying to like use it and toss it as I go. So this is normally a Knight of Wands. So this is all about taking fast action and the things that we're passionate about. So for you guys, what you need to balance more, I'm hearing that it's like literally, what do you do with your free time? What is it that is fun for you at the end of the day? Like you're so focused on maybe attracting some of these things in, but you need to remember to live and love yourself and take care of yourself. And if you're really interested in doing something, like giving yourself that space to like learn a new skill or hobby, or, take a class in something. And I feel like a lot of it is just like, again, loving what you do and loving when you're not in that space, you kind of put out this energy of lack of, I don't really know what I want or why I want it. And because of that, it's a lot harder for you to manifest things. When you are more in a high vibration, when you are kind of lit up, you end up attracting things more. And I feel like pile number 3, you guys have just been doing things because somebody has told you to do it, but you're not doing it for you because you love it. And that's what needs to be flipped on its head so you can start manifesting things. So I feel like pile number 3, we could go further. Really taking stock of where you want to be. All right, you guys. So that was our group reading. I do that at the beginning, so that way, even if you miss some of my live nights, you can still watch it replay and still get something out of it. But from now on, we do individual readings, and usually I go with donations first, and then if I get through the donations, we do like guessing game readings. But yes, so I'm going to go back up to Laura, and then Johnny donated, and we will catch up. Magic of the Unicorns. Is that the one I have? Oh, no, I have Oracle of the Unicorns. I've seen that one, though. Hello, Griffy, the Griffiness. I love that. There are a lot of cards to remember, especially when you do tarot. I took a whole tarot class that was 5 weeks, and I'm still like trying to remember it and memorize it and get my own associations with it. That's why most people do oracle cards, because usually it has just the information written out on the card. But something keeps telling me no. Interesting. I was about to say, go pull a card on why, but don't do that. It might just be that, your guides want you to not use it as a crutch first. I personally would say that. Even though I had a deck of cards before I started learning my psychic ability, I didn't use them much, and I never felt confident in it because I didn't know how to read with my intuition. And then as soon as I learned with my intuition and took all my classes and coached at the Aspen program, then I got back into the cards. But my teacher was always like, no, don't read them. Anyway, hello, Jordan. All right, so let me jump up to who donated. So Laura wants to know, would love a card pulled tonight. Message from higher self regarding Taurus season. Yes. Okay. And I wanted to put some of these away. Well, no, I'll use this one. Too much going on here. Too much junk. That goes there. All right. Laura specifically. Anything else Laura needs to know about Taurus season for her? I'm hearing that it's more going to be about longevity for you. Like, you might not feel like everything's going to happen in the next month, but I'm definitely hearing that, like, it's about the 1.5 years for you. No, let's not pull these cards. I've got too much going on. Hang on. Which card do I want? They're all like shouting. This one, but ask this question. This card, but ask this question. Also, have any of you guys listened to my Spirit Guide podcast? I'm pretty like freaking proud of it. I hope you guys have listened to it. I feel like my guides were also very happy that I shared it. All right. Let me start with what I have. Okay. So attending to the details. This is like an astrological deck, but I'm just going to focus on the bottom stuff. So I got attend to the details and being real. Like, to me, I'm getting like cleanup vibes, Laura, like taking the next month to clean up what's no longer working for you. Because I feel like, and that's something that the eclipse is really good at doing, is exposing all of those. So I feel like what your guides are trying to say is that it's going to seem rocky, but that's just a perception. And if you switch your perception into, no, this is showing me like what's not serving me anymore, and okay, I'm going to take this off my plate. Like, they're specifically telling me to share like my current experience, and that is that, I'm moving away from my like normal day-to-day job, which is like my film business with my husband, but I am still getting sucked back into it, and I'm still wanting to help them and go in and manage the meetings and do all of these things. And I'm really having to force myself to be like, no, I don't have to do this anymore. I purposely took this off my plate. Why do I keep wanting to add it back onto my plate? And so I keep taking on responsibilities and then basically being like, sorry, no, I'm going to take this back off my plate. Because like I want to help, but at the end of the day, it's like, how is it helping you? And is it draining you? Is it keeping you from making this money, bringing in this abundance? So like, I feel like for you, it's going to expose a lot of the things that need to be changed, which can be stressful if you're constantly looking at it perspective of like, oh my gosh, everything's going wrong. But if you're really looking at it as like, no, okay, this next month is going to be clean up month. We're going to bring up these obstacles. We're going to get rid of them. We're going to attend to the details. We're going to be real about what they are and whether or not they need to be taken off our plate. And I think because of that, I also pulled the peace card in reverse. Like to me, the energy that I'm getting is that you can find this peace, but it's all about how you're seeing it. Like you could see this as a really rough month, or you can see this as like you know what, I'm not going to necessarily progress a whole lot, but I am going to progress in the way that I'm getting rid of the bad. Not progressing in like acquiring the good. It's more the former. And I think that needs to be done to bring in this abundance. And I think that's why I'm getting this message of like, it's the next year and a half, a little bit less than again, that you're going to see more of that. But I'm just going to be real with you, Laura. Like it's going to be bumpy. At least that's what I'm reading now. The future can change. All right. I want to pull one more, but I just asked if there's anything else you needed to know. And goddess energy, like to me, if I'm not explaining it well, like your month needs to be simple. You need to not have a whole lot planned, not be super ambitious, so that as these obstacles come up, you can handle them. And then what time you have left, you need to be taking care of yourself, giving yourself that luxury, that abundance. Like not saying that you're not going to have any of that money or anything, but focus that extra time on like pampering you, even if you don't see the exact results that you want yet. Awesome, Laura. Thank you for the donation. All right, let's look for Johnny's question. Just bump down really quick. I loved it. I hope to do more on spirit guides. Oh, sorry. I forgot to turn off my phone. Oh, and I forgot to set my timer. It was set, and then I paused it. Okay, stop buzzing. Oh, thank you, Kevin. I just now saw that. Oh, and Jessica. We'll get to you guys after Johnny. They did it. They donated on Venmo. Sweet tops. Okay. I feel like I'm a little more on the mellow side today. I feel you. You're welcome. Thank you, Laura. Okay, so Johnny was the next donation. My question is, when I was at work yesterday, I served a lady that looked exactly like my Aunt Barbara, who you've met. Oh, like I've read her. I was like, I've met them. Can you confirm if this was a visit and what did she have to say? I totally, like, my guides have shown me similar instances, and I totally think that this sometimes happens, not because that person is them, but because that Aunt Barbara probably sent them and kind of lined it up perfectly to where like it might have happened, or to where it did happen. Sorry. And I feel like our guides do this to like get our attention. Like this happens a lot with animals too. Like a lot of people are like, oh, this animal's popping up. I feel like it's grandpa, or I feel like it was my previous animal. And I think that sometimes it is, and I'll be like, oh yeah, they totally, definitely reincarnated. It's the same energy. Most of the time, though, I've never had it be that, and I've had it be more that, like, that animal, that person sent them your way with that energy to get your attention and to send you like a sign. It's just another way that spirit sends us signs. So point being, that's immediately what I felt like it was. It wasn't like somebody reincarnated as your Aunt Barbara, obviously. But it's like she sent them your attention to be like, oh my gosh, what? So is it a visit? Like, yes, in a way is the answer to that. But I will ask what the purpose of it was. Like, what was she trying to communicate? She's telling me that it's about something that's going on in your life right now. I'm hearing encouragement and advice. Ooh. Okay. So I just pulled the co-create card, and I'm hearing her talking, and she's kind of saying, like, you've been really down on yourself. You've been feeling like you're trying to, like, get all these things lined up, and it seems like you keep hitting walls, or it's just not fast enough. Like, there's this kind of like low level frustration of just like things not working. And I feel like you're always just kind of looking to the next thing of like, okay, now I got this. What's the next thing? And there's no like celebration in between. And also she wants to introduce the idea of co-creation. I think that's why this card came out. And it's all about like, how can you ask the universe for help? How can you trust that the universe will actually help you as well? And I feel like you feel like, the universe is always out to get you. Maybe not like so much that, but it's almost like, oh, I have to go at it alone. I'm not, I have to do everything by myself. I feel like you don't think about how your thoughts create your reality of like, specifically in this moment, like with something specific that's going on. I'm not like saying this generally, but there's something going on that's stressful that you're not thinking, oh yeah, I can use my intuition. I can use my help from my spiritual team, and we can help bring this about and make this a lot easier. I feel like because you're trying to go at it your own way, I feel like I could do a whole podcast on this, but because you're trying to do it like your own way and force it that way, you're not really opening it up to help or other ways of it happening. So I feel like she was trying to come in and trying to say like, there's an easier way to go about this. And if that doesn't resonate, like toss it. But because I feel like there's other messages there, something about your mom as well, like a message she wanted to pass on. But she's kind of like, it was like a fleeting, like, hey, I wanted to get your attention and tell you you can do it and get out of your head and ask for help is kind of like the generic thing. But she's also like, I trust you, like you can do it. Don't like get hung up on it too much also is the energy that she's given. I just wanted to make sure. Anything else I'm missing with Johnny? I just got the trickster card. I also feel like it's partly because she wanted to surprise you and get your attention, and she kind of liked the satisfaction of doing that. She likes to like trick you, not trick you in a bad way, but like in a fun, playful way. There's several reasons behind it, but none of them are like dire. You know what I mean? That's not like the information that I'm getting. All right. Thank you, Jordan. Let me jump over, though, to Kevin and Jessica. Jessica E., are you the one that donated on Venmo? Yes, Jessica E. Okay. Let me get to Kevin. He donated right before you. Oh, you are gummy worms. Awesome. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I shouldn't have read that. Where's Kevin's question? Awesome YouTube channel, by the way. Thank you, gummy worms. I'm very proud of it. I used to not be, but I'm very proud of it. Where's gummy worms? Gummy worms, gummy worms. I haven't really said anything too publicly, but I'm really going to be changing up my content in the sense that I'm going to be doing more videos of things that I want to do and less about what I think the algorithm will like. I've been living by that rule for a little too long. Gosh dang it. I'm sorry about my squeaky wheel. I only know about WD-40, and I feel like I cannot spray WD-40 onto my mouse wheel. That would not be good. Gosh dang it. Am I missing this? No question, just reading. Oh, okay. We like this squeaky wheel. All right. So I'm going gummy worms, Jessica, Jordan. All right. So gummy worms, you were 15. Thank you. I will do a little bit longer. I'm going to ask, what are we talking about? What is it that you need to know about? Right. And I got the fates and regeneration. Is already happening? Yes and no is what I heard. So usually when the regeneration card comes up, this is like you're going through some big transformations. If you feel like you aren't there yet, I feel like that's the part of this. Maybe it's already started, maybe it's not. I feel like this is a regeneration in a good way. Like not something where the like tower needs to fall down and everything needs to be reassembled. I feel like this is something they're telling me it's been in like an inkling, like you've needed to change this. Maybe it's a relationship or a job. And so far, like I think the timing has not worked out, which is why we're pulling the Fates card. So whatever this is, that's what we're talking about. You kind of being in this energy of things are shifting. You feel like there's a change coming up, but it hasn't quite hit yet, but it's on its way. I actually feel like it's in relation to this next month. Like you're going to see something bigger happen with it. And I'm hearing that it's because you're finally putting your foot down. So if you decide not to put your foot down, nothing's going to change. Any more insight into what the heck this is about? I just want to like hone it down more. I think it's about a lot of things in your life, honestly. Okay, I get it now. So I pulled reflect on your priorities. Yeah. This to me feels like all the things that you've got on your plate in your life. And it's almost like you've been doing things the same way for a while, and you know some of these things are not making you happy. They're not interesting, or they're just draining you. There's just a lot that's just not happening. Or a lot that's not working. And so this next month, I feel like this eclipse energy is going to be a lot for us. Reflecting on your priorities. I feel like this is taking stock of like, all right, what do I want to do? Do I want to deal with this stuff anymore? It's almost about going back to that intention. Like, I don't know if you chose a group pile, but it felt like whichever one was talking about, like, okay, what is your intention? Like, what is your why? Why are you doing these things? And as soon as you identify what that is, then it informs all your other decisions. Like if your sole thing is, I want to make money and I want to rest and play the rest of my time, then if that's your intention, then look at all the things that are on your plate and do those things serve that intention, or are they like totally not even in relation to it? Like for example, if you really want to make money and you want to rest the rest of the time, but you are doing this like volunteer job that pays you nothing, that takes up a lot of your time, like then you might be able to realize, okay, let's take that off of my plate. That's just an example. But I feel like this next month for you, gummy worms, I like your handle, is all about figuring out those priorities. Like I'm really feeling called to tell you to do this exercise. Maybe I'm wondering if I could like talk about this elsewhere and talk about it in more in depth. But it's basically, writing out all the roles that you have in your life and what percentage of time each of those roles takes out of like your week or your day. And it should all total up to be 100%. And like your roles could be, oh, well, I'm a worker at this place. I'm a father. I'm a friend. On a board. Like all those different roles that you play. Like I'm a house cleaner. Or I don't know. But separating it out and like putting pen to paper, I think that's a fantastic exercise that I got from my life coach. And I still every now and then do it to reevaluate my priorities and say, all right, what is my why? What's my intention? What do I really want? And are my roles in my life allocated correctly? If you guys want me to like share more of that, I can do that, but want to move on with the rest of Gummy Worms reading. Not too sure. I'm all over the place. That makes sense. Working 4 jobs right now. Oh my goodness. Absolutely slim it down. Let me pull. I wanted to pull like a few more cards for you. I'm going to ask how you can narrow it down. Like what energy, what is that intention? If you don't know what that intention is, what is going to help you and not hurt you? And then that way you can say, oh, okay, well, that does not align with what energy I should be moving towards. Mm-hmm. These are the same 2 cards that I pulled for myself on this like same issue. So the energy you wanting to, that you should be moving towards. So this is the rescuer card. And this is all about assuming that we're going to be rescued. Or within work, it's about assuming that, oh, we'll put in all this work and we'll get recognized for it, or we will get an equal amount back. And so we're kind of stranding ourselves, hoping that somebody's going to show up, and they might not ever. And so you're stranded and you're waiting on all these other things to save you. But this is really about rescuing yourself and saying, okay, I'm not going to strand myself out in a boat to wait for somebody else to save me. I'm going to row the boat back to the shore, if that makes sense. That's just kind of like a symbolic idea of this card. But this is about knowing that whatever you are trying to do, you're doing it because you're not doing it with an expectation of reward. And so if you're doing some of these work, these jobs, anything on your plate that's like, oh, I'm doing this in the hopes that I'm going to get reciprocated, like in a negative way, I think that's energy you want to move away from. And then I think you also want more of an energy of a hedonist. And this is like literally, this chick is feeding grapes to herself. This is somebody that embraces the good things in life, celebrates the good things in life. This is about enjoying life. And so if some of these roles or these priorities in your life are not serving these 2 cards, like that energy, I feel like this is just a starting place again. Then I don't feel like it's worth your time and your energy. Like these are more important. It's about giving an equal amount that you're getting back, and then also making sure that you're enjoying life. What's the point if you're not enjoying any of it? All right, and I'm going to pull Gummy Worms donated just a little bit more. That's why I'm doing this longer. I asked for a guide to help you with this. And if there's any guide you want to like research or maybe call to and ask for help, I pulled the goddess Oshun, and she is the goddess of generosity. And this is so perfect because this is saying when we give to ourselves or when we give to others without expectation of return, we are putting out abundance. We are putting out a mentality of I have enough to give away. I have enough. And because you're saying I have enough, you're going to attract what your thoughts are. You're putting your thoughts into reality. And so if you're constantly in this abundant state of, I have enough, I'm going to give it away, that doesn't mean you have to give your money away necessarily, especially if you're like tight, but it's about like giving your time and your energy to yourself and to others, but in a way that feels good. Like your cup is filled first and then you fill other people's cups. That's always important too. Then you end up attracting more abundance because you're in the energy of abundance and you bring it in more. Or I shouldn't even say you bring it in more, you open up more to what is already there. I feel like you'll realize that working less actually will bring you more. And if anyone is feeling like this resonates with them as well, I highly recommend all of Denise Dufus's books. She's an Australian author who mindset, and I think she's just fantastic. I think I have a few review videos of her. Awesome. Thank you, Gummy Worms. Okay, Jessica Jordan and Three Graces tattoo. I am behind, not behind, but you guys are on my list. I'm catching up. Sorry, I'm reading all of Johnny's messages. Of course. Thanks, Johnny. All right, Jessica, where was your question? I'm losing all it. Okay, anything around career and finance for Jessica. Let's do, and you donated on Venmo. How much was that? Okay, 11. Where do I want to start? I want to start with the goddesses. So I wanted to talk about like more of an energy that you should be stepping into for that, like an overarching like theme. No, not that one. Ooh, the moon. Using your intuition more in your career and your finance. Like maybe you're coming at it way too logically or practically. The moon, or this is technically the goddess of the moon, Mama Kila. There's also another goddess of the moon named Selene, which is a Greek goddess. But this is all about making sure you're using your intuition in your career and around your money. Because I feel like a lot of us, that is like the most common area we don't use our intuition because we've been taught, oh, well, you do the work and then you get the money. But oftentimes we're working in an area that just doesn't work for us. Not saying that that's the case for you, Jessica. I am just gonna, they're asking me though to get like a rundown of where you've been and where you're headed. Okay, that makes sense. So I think you've kind of been in this energy, Jessica, because in the past, you might have made like a transition and it was a good transition. You moved from something that wasn't serving you into something that is. And if the timing is off, maybe this is in the future for you and you're about to head into this. But really, this is about you set your intention. You said, I want more. I want to use my intuition to say, hey, is this good for me? Is this not good for me? I want to work smarter, not harder. I want to do something that I love. And I think I'm just double checking. Is this in the past? I feel like it might even be in the near future. So change the timing around of what makes sense to you. But I pulled the present card as building blocks. And I feel like the message here is like you might be worried that you're not going fast enough. And you're not understanding that when you switch modes, like it takes time to build that up. When you switched into something new, you're not just going to be at the end of the race. You have to run that race. You have to do the work. You have to build it. And when I think of building blocks, like really, I think of going through the trials and errors of understanding what works and doesn't work. And you kind of have to find your new place and kind of get settled. And that's what this building blocks card is. And then in the future, they're really encouraging you to not think so small, to like open up your horizons and kind of say, no, what could the possibilities be? And so maybe you've been told with like your money or your career that this is what it has to look like. And because of that, you've kind of, that's what's keeping you kind of a little bit in the past, or in kind of the areas of career that you don't want to be in. And I think it's because you're telling yourself that that's the best you can do. And so I would really try to, again, coming back to using your intuition to ask yourself, why do I have these self-limiting beliefs? Why am I feeling blocked in these areas? Why do I feel like the expectations or the bar can't be raised higher? And then you can also use your intuition to ask all sorts of other questions, like, how can I make this move along faster? What is it that's blocking me that I need to get rid of? Like, using your intuition to ask all these questions will just make everything so much easier. And I feel like you're just not trusting your intuition when it comes to it. Anything else that Jessica needs to know about this situation? Practice gratitude. We are getting that a lot today. So being thankful for what is working is only going to put out more of that gracious energy. I basically just described this a second ago, so I won't re-describe it. But when you're basically in an energy of, wow, these things over here are working for me, you're telling the universe, like, I'm happy with what I have enough, I'm happy. And so then you attract more of that based on your thoughts, and your thoughts creating your reality. And I really feel like, honestly, Jessica, this is kind of like a mindset switch, a leveling up in a raising your expectations kind of way, and starting to use your intuition more to figure out what's not working for you, instead of just kind of coming at everything practically. Alrighty. Anything else for Jessica? I'm hearing that you do a lot of the work, like in the job, but you don't do a lot of work up here of like, what do I want? What's upsetting me? What's not working for me? Where do I need to draw more boundaries? What do I want to do? Alrighty. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for your donations. Thank you, everyone, tonight. Let's see. Okay, and now we have Jordan again. And then the Three Graces tattoo. Did we have another one after that? And Simi. All right. Jordan. Any messages from Hades been trying to reach out and work with? Oh, I wish I had. I want to grab my other deck, but I shouldn't. That's actually really interesting that you've been reaching out to him, because I've been very interested in the Greek gods, historically speaking, but I also have been like, what if I tried to reach out to them? Are they like real entities? And I'm sure they are. But I'm side note, I'm reading a book about Hades and Persephone. It's like a romance book. It's called A Touch of Darkness, is the first in the series. And I'm like, I love it. I love it. And so when you say Hades, I'm like, oh, my book is where my mind goes first. What deck do I want to use? I'm just feeling this out because I've never like specifically had anybody ask me to talk to a Greek goddess or god or goddess. Although that's not true. I've totally gotten messages from Aphrodite for other people. I just think I've never worked with them personally. So I'm literally asking him like, hey, are you real? I mean, I'm talking to somebody that's identifying as that. And he doesn't like my decks, so he wants a darker deck. Okay, what does Jordan need to know? Side note, when I was on Periscope, I used to connect with celebrities that had passed because I thought that was fun to do. And so people would like throw up celebrity names and I would just read them. Sometimes I would know the celebrity, but then sometimes I wouldn't. And I kind of was doing it as a way, hey, if I can connect to anybody in spirit, why couldn't we connect to a celebrity? Like, why? And it worked just fine. And it was probably one of my favorite nights that I ever did readings. Although I did it on my outside porch and there was like bugs everywhere. It was a disaster. It was before I had like any sort of reading space that I could use. Anyway. All right, Jordan. So I got in my most girly deck that I will say that he's not happy with, all that in reverse. And this card is about not being distracted by the shiny objects, by the materialness. It's like not being distracted by the cars and the clothes and the shoes and the status. It's like people that do that versus like the inner stuff, like what's important, your personality, how you treat other people. So if there's anything in life that you're getting like, you're getting attracted to it for the wrong reasons, not saying that you can't, like I will happily endorse any sort of luxury, like really, investing in those things that make you feel good financially. Like there's no shame in that, but it's about doing it for the wrong reason. So like you could be totally like, I don't know. I feel like there's people in communities that have no money that will get really into showing off like the things that they, what am I trying to say here? I'm specifically thinking about like, I went to Thailand once and saw this community of people who were living very cheaply. This is a side tangent. Sorry, Jordan. But they were living very cheaply, but they were like, oh, look at me. Look at how cheap I'm living. And they would sit around and brag about how little they were spending and how resourceful they were and, how they would get their food this way or that way. And it's like, it's great, but they were still doing it for the reason of bragging, for the reason of, showing off to others and making themselves feel better about themselves or making themselves feel more important than other people. And so point being, like, you don't have to have money to be in that energy. It's more about doing it for the wrong reasons. And so if there's anything in life that you feel like you're distracted by that's maybe not in alignment with what you really do want, I feel like he's trying to bring that up. I think he's saying that's because like he's all about death. He's about what you don't bring that stuff with you into the afterlife. So I mess with it is his attitude. That's his bias, his opinion. And then he wants you to also be more present. This card is about not focusing on the past, not focusing on the future, all about staying in the present. And then I pulled the higher power card. But I want to ask him why we're bringing this out. Ooh. I think this is kind of in a more larger sense, like your quest to find a higher power, your quest to find what you believe in. This says keep your heart open. Like this is really coming at this kind of work and trusting. I'm hearing that you're trusting what you're getting. And you're trusting that there is a higher power that's there for you, that will resonate with you, that makes you feel connected. Like I feel like, I mean, you're here a lot, you ask questions, you work with a lot of different deities and guides. And I think, it's the reason for that is because you're probably trying to find the one that resonates most. And I think he's trying to promise that happen, but it has something to do with your heart, like keeping your heart open. And I feel like that's like a literal and metaphorical thing, like keeping your heart open in like hope, but also like using your heart to do meditations to, there's something about when you set intentions and you hold your hand over your heart and you kind of think about your intentions, that is so much more powerful than if you're not doing that. I encourage all of you to try that. Anything else that Jordan needs to know? And thank you all for your patience. What is the Weaver? I dropped my card here. The Weaver is a queen. Queen of Pentacles. Like, I feel like he's also trying to say, like, you're going to be set as far as, like, financial things go. You're going to figure out a way to, like, make it work to where it works well with, like, your spirituality. But there might be a lot of inner work that needs to be done, especially over this whole, Taurus season, or maybe this next year and a half. He's trying to, like, let you know that you're going to be safe and protected in that way. There just needs to be some inner work done around it. And when I say inner work, it's about working with the shadow side, working with triggers, working with the bad habits that you have that you need to kind of let go of. That was interesting. I might have to do that again. I also think that's like perfect because I've been doing a bunch of research. If you listen to my podcast, my guides one that I recently did, I talked about Greek gods and goddesses and how I've been wanting to connect with them. And I've been learning about them, but I've never like talked to them for myself. So I feel like that's also a message for me to be like, go out and do it. All right, so that was Jordan. And then we have 3 Graces next. Let me just catch up on the comments. Could I get a reading if I donate? Yes. When gods or goddesses came to you in a vision or dream, does it mean that they want to work with? Or I'm not sure if I understand. Comes, not can. Does it mean that they want to work with you or that they are working with you? Oh, it could be either. I know, Angelica, you ask me a lot of questions and I'm always like, it could be either one. But a lot of your questions are like exactly that. So she's basically asking, if you see a god or a goddess in your dream, does it mean they want to work with you or that they're already working with you? And that's something you would just have to ask or know, because sometimes they want permission first, but sometimes they're already like, no, I'm helping you. Pay attention. So it's really circumstantial. All right, and then we got Miss Sweets too. Thank you. Make sure I'm not missing any more. All right, so I'm going 3 Graces, Simi, and then Miss Sweets. I'm catching up. Okay, no question. I'd love a reading, please. So this is for 3 Graces tattoo. I feel like we need these cards. Do you do tattoos, 3 Graces? I have been looking for a new tattoo artist. And I really have decided I do not want to go with any more male tattoo artists. Not that I don't like males, but just I've decided the next one I want. I see so many cool tattoo artists, female tattoo artists on TikTok. But they're always never in my area. All right. What is this about? I'm telling you all, I feel like this is the eclipse energy that's coming through. This almost feels exactly like gummy worms. This feels almost exactly like gummy worms reading, but I got reflect on your priorities. And immediately, again, I'm feeling like there's things that you can take off your plate that are not serving you, that are not helping you, that are not in alignment with what you want to be doing. And what you can do is simply think about it. Like this card is just simply sitting down. Literally, if you need to make a pros and cons list, again, if you need to like write out all the different roles that you play in your life and then figure out how much of your day you spend doing those roles. And then sometimes when you write that out, you're just like, holy cow, I spend a lot of time on that thing when really it should be like 2% of my day. But I feel like your guides are saying that it's as simple as sitting down and thinking about it. It's not like this big, huge, like, what is it called? Like the darkness that everyone calls it. Like when you're going through a period of struggle, it's like what is that called? I can't remember. But it's not like a big deal. It's something as simple as like, don't avoid it anymore. Just sit down and put some time into it. And then you're going to feel like you are a little bit more in alignment with your priorities. Especially if you feel like you're going round and round in a circle. I got this in reverse. And so this is saying like, if you're feeling like you're going around and around and you're coming back to the same issues, the same problems, and nothing is getting better, you might be kind of spinning your wheels because there's something better that can be done. And your guides are calling you to really be brave about it. Come to the edge really says like, oh, where can I really step up and take like some brave risks and get rid of the things that aren't working for me? I feel like you're also kind of in this zone of like, maybe this is just a lot of us in the energy tonight, but I feel like a lot of us are playing it small because somebody else told us this is what work looks like. You have to work for somebody else. You have to work 9 to 5, but really like, you don't have to do that. You're an adult. You could theoretically sit home on your butt all day and never make any money. Obviously, we're not going to do that, but there can be more of a happy medium. Like, who says your workday can't be 4 hours every day? Who says your workday can't be 4 days a week? You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of us really need to rethink our work life. Really, I feel like this is kind of coming out as a group message, but this definitely applies to you, Three Graces. And I think I've been getting this message quite a bit, even for myself, of really challenging the idea of what work career looks like for us. And I don't know if you guys have heard, but like right now, there's this great resignation that's going on that's post pandemic. And it's like a lot of people don't want to go back to work. They don't want to go back to toxic work environments. The amount of entrepreneurs starting their own jobs right now is just through the roof. And it's because people don't want to work in these old ass styles. Oh, hang on. That was my member reading. Karen, after Miss Sweets, you get a reading. So think of a question. Oh, and Priya. Goodness gracious, you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to catch up. That was just my member reading. So if you're a member, like you can see some of these folks have green names and they've got little symbols next to them. You on a live night might get a live reading. So that's what that was about. But what was I saying for Three Graces? I might have lost my train of thought. But the point here is like, I really feel like this next month, we need to get radical with our ideas. Like only if that resonates with you. If you're happy where you're at, don't mess it up. You know what I mean? Okay. Anything else? Or wait, no, that was only 9. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Well, yeah. I don't think that card was for you. I pulled it, but it just didn't. I don't think it made sense. I think the guides are trying to end it there. Alrighty. Thank you, Three Graces. All right. Now we have Simi. Any messages, guidance from the spirit on the direction? Oh, here, let me just catch up on chat really quick. Sorry. Stories between Hades and Persephone is very popular. There's also the webtoon comic is literally how I've found the books that I'm reading now. Because I was reading the comic and then it was like, oh, I'll pay for this subscription. I was like, that's dumb. And then somehow I found the book and I love the book. Thank you, Miss Sweets. I will get to you. Greek deities are very popular amongst the Wiccan and pagan crowds. Yes, and that's the thing that I talked about in my podcast is just that, like, I've always been into them, but then I'm like learning more about Wiccan stuff over here, pagan stuff. Not that I am one, not that there's anything wrong with being one, but I just am trying to learn more about other areas of the spiritual community. And I am incorporating a lot of like witchcraft practices into what I personally do, just because I enjoy them. Like I will say, I did a candle spell the last new moon. Oh my Jesus, it worked like this. It was fantastic. Anyway, I'm learning more about that, and that was my point, was that I was like, oh my gosh, these Greek gods have something to do with astrology. They're already in the Wiccan community. It was just like all these synchronicities popping up where everything was like matching. And that's sometimes how our guides communicate to us. And so if you're interested in that and you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Check out the latest podcast. No, I love the questions, Angelica. And again, if you guys have questions and you just really want more answers, my Patreon is a great place to ask those, because I literally just recorded our video today of our Q&A. It's like a 20-30 minute long video of me answering people's questions. And I really give it time. I'm in Maine. Dang it! You're on like the other side of the U.S. I'm in Colorado. All right, and I've got Priya. Dark Night of the Soul. Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking at. I'm becoming a medium and tattooing a lot less. I own my own shop. I've been tattooing for 22 years. I want to move on. Ooh, that makes sense. What spell? I'm trying to get into trying a spell. It's specifically from the book that I got from my teacher when I went and took this class. So if you watch my candle manifestation video that I did with Liv, I showed the book in there. So you'd have to buy that book. Actually, did I do? I feel like I recorded it somewhere. I remember recording the picture of the page. I wonder if it's in my Sabbath video. No, I don't think so. Where did I put it? Maybe it's in the members videos for Patreon. I can't remember, but if you reach out to me if you're trying to like specifically find it and you really want to. There's obviously a ton on YouTube, but I loved the one that I did. And I modified it pretty heavily, so I don't know. It definitely wouldn't be the exact same. Is it on YouTube? Yes, the candle manifestation video that I did with Liv. And then it's like a yellow book by Rena Sesho, and it's called Candle Magic. But I don't think she sells things on Amazon, so I don't know how you would get it. But all right, let me jump back up to Simi. Any messages, guidance from spirit on the direction of my career or in general, please? What time is it? 9:05. Okay. I got to wake up for early morning reading, so I need to make sure I wake up early enough to be awake for it. So I want to make sure I get some rest tonight. Normally I don't do early morning readings because I'm just but if you ask and I can, I will make time and space for it. All right. Lots of career stuff tonight. It makes sense too. We've also been in Aries season. You know what? I don't want this. Need to reset. Okay. See me. Ask them first. Swear. I got practice gratitude again. So Simi, kind of what I'm getting with this practice gratitude, and then I got the Avenger card. An Avenger is somebody who desires to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. Like, really, I'm leaning towards the oneself. This is about standing up for yourself and doing the things that you want to do or that you believe in. You're avenging yourself. And I feel like when you're not, or sorry, not that, but when you are not practicing gratitude, when you're more in this energy of like, oh, things aren't working, nothing's working. Again, the intention is like, nothing's working. I just am putting out lack, and then you attract lack back. And I think the reason why you're doing this is because you're not avenging yourself. You are not trying to balance the scales for yourself. And I feel like maybe you're trying to, people please everybody else. But the energy that's being called for is to really step into, no, what are my boundaries? What works for me? And, that's not saying you need to like change up your career. Maybe it's just, again, taking stock of like, okay, what's not working for me? What do I need to focus on instead? And so I'm just going to ask for like action items. Like, what can you be doing to kind of move in this direction more? And you need to be a lot more gentle with yourself. This is the to be fair card. But also I'm hearing like boundaries with other people of like, I don't know if you put in a lot of effort and don't really see that return either monetarily or just like with getting gratitude or appreciation back. But this is about saying, okay, what are my boundaries? And are they being stepped on? Am I overstepping? Like, how can I adjust this? Again, to give myself justice. And then I got the co-create card. Again, this is definitely a theme tonight, and the Between Worlds card. This is all about our thoughts creating our reality. And again, if we feel like we have to do everything ourselves and we don't call in our spiritual team that you believe in for help, then it feels like you're having to do everything yourself. But with co-creation, you can ask your guides for what you want, but you have to have a clear intention first. You have to know what it is that you want so that you can, you're placing an order into the universe. If you walk up to the counter and say, oh, I don't know what I want. Maybe I want this, maybe I want that. They're not going to know what to give you. But if you're very clear on what you want, because you're clear with your boundaries, then all of a sudden you start to attract in the correct things and you're meeting the universe halfway. Half of this is about having a clear intention. The other half is about trusting that the universe is going to help you. I love how Colette Baron-Reed describes it in that you put in some of the work, the universe puts in some of the work, and you guys meet halfway. And I think Gabby Bernstein also described this as like, what did she say? Doing something out of your comfort zone in the direction towards your intention is one great way to signal the universe, hey, I want to co-create something. What was this question? What can you do right now? I think this Between Worlds card, Simi, is just talking about stepping out of the things that are no longer working and stepping into the things that are lighting you up and bringing you joy. All right, you guys. Thank you, Simi. Thank you for your donation. All right, Ms. Wheats. Message from your ancestors. Ooh, yes. I know I'm pulling a lot of tarot cards. I usually do that on my live nights just to like keep things moving. But in my normal readings, I use less tarot cards. So I pulled the Seeker card for you, Ms. Weeds, and this is definitely about, they want you to keep seeking the truth. Like the Seeker card is all about like seeking them out, one, but also seeking out your own spiritual journey, like why you're here on this earth, why you have the ancestors that you do. This is a good intention to have, and they want you to keep doing this. Keep going in search towards these things that you are interested in, and they're here to help. Is this about a relationship? Okay. I could be wrong. I heard yes. But I got prince and victim. And immediately these cards together, it was like, maybe you just got out of a tough relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship. Maybe this was in your past. But there's definitely a theme. Maybe it's not even somebody who's romantic. It could just be like relationships in general and the boundaries that you set. And maybe it's that you fall for the people who are not necessarily going to take good care of you. And because of that, you get thrown under the bus sometimes, or you fall in love with something that's not real. And then you kind of are in this state of like, oh, I was taken advantage of. And then you kind of have like a victim mentality. And I really think that your ancestors to say, hey, even again, if this is not romantic, like look at the areas of your life where you feel like you might have been way too open or not had boundaries with people in your life. And how can we get out of the victim mentality and start having clearer boundaries and make it so that this pattern doesn't keep happening again? Because really, when you can switch this on its head, when you are no longer the shadow attribute, which is, playing the victim and you can't maintain personal boundaries, then you flip into, you're able to prevent yourself from being victimized by others, and you have more of that control. And there's a reason why within your family, like the people that you are around in the life that you lead, why this is here and why this is a lesson that needs to be learned. And it's something very familial, generational that you can examine. Awesome. That's an interesting message. I'm curious to see what you say about that. Thank you, Miss Sweets. All right, let's move on. Sweets. Okay, Priya and then Karen. And you guys, I think after Karen, I'm gonna maybe do one free reading and then I'm gonna wrap it up. So like no more donations, we'll just do a free reading for everybody that's been waiting, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see, where's Priya? Priya. What guidance do I, let me catch up on the chat really quick. I know how you feel, Karen. Sometimes you're like, it literally will take me 2 seconds. Maybe since you just got some cards, ask. Oh, wait, no, that's probably your question for me. That's what I'll do. Never mind. That's great, Nancy. All right, let me jump back up. Okay, Priya, what guidance do I need to know right now? I'm feeling the Goddesses card. I just like inhaled a bunch of smoke intuitively. What does that mean? Priya, I feel like there's just... Ugh. Is it literal? Actually, I feel like it's literal. Do you live in an area where there's a lot of pollution? I feel like the immediate thing that I got was like bad, like smoke inhalation. I don't know if it's like literally people smoking or like pollution. I just got that. I think it was literal because I asked. I'm still asking if it's symbolic, and I'm hearing no. Anyway, so maybe get an air purifier. All right, Ooh, potential is the first card that I pulled for you. Priya, your guides want to talk about your potential. I really feel like this is the theme of the night, raising our standards. So what is this in regards to? I think your guides want you to raise your shut up. I got the exact same card in a different deck. Like this is the same meaning. It says imagine, but this is about imagining your horizons expanding, like the ceiling lifting or raising the ceiling, raising the bar. So you have a lot more potential, Priya. Like this is coming through pretty heavy. You have a lot more potential. You can raise the bar. Your life can look so differently in a good way. And really you just have to understand that it can be that way first. You really have to get into the mentality of it's allowed to happen and I can do it. And as soon as you can step into that power and that energy, you're going to notice that it like fills. Like they're giving me the image of like a goldfish in a tank. And you know how if you get a goldfish, a bigger tank, like they grow to fit the tank. I don't know if it's a goldfish specifically. Maybe it's like a different type of fish, but like that's you. And you are keeping yourself in these small spaces because, oh my gosh, what is the energy tonight? I pulled the reflect on your priorities again. Gosh, this is everyone tonight. So what guidance do you need to know right now? Priya, you can lift the bar so much higher. Like, again, 2 cards basically saying that. And it's all coming down to your priorities. It's where you're spending your time and energy. And because your priorities are probably like not in the best place, maybe you're taking care of everybody else but yourself, or maybe you're not giving time and energy to the things that could raise that bar for yourself. Like it's just not manifesting. Anything else Priya needs to do to kind of work on this? Pay attention to the signs and symbols that come through for your guides. I feel like you're a lot like, I don't even know where to start. They're going to lead you. They're going to give you nudges and hints of like where to go, like what book to pick up, what to research, and kind of, I feel like they're going to give you the resources and the tools that you need. But at the very least, just trying to get in your head and tell yourself that you can and the bar can be raised. Your life can look so much, I don't want to say better as if your life like sucks right now, but like you feel like, oh, okay, this is where I'm at. But they're trying to say, no, the potential can be so much bigger. And they really want you to see that for yourself. All right. Thank you, Priya. Scrolling down. Okay. I think that was Karen's question. Right. There have been wildfires. Oh, I should have said that because I almost was like, are there wildfires? But I was like seeing a city, so I doubted that hit. I'm working on my boundaries too. Thank you, Miss Sweet. Sorry, I'm so slow with the comments. There have been wildfires. The theme is we all need work guidance, work-life balance. Yes. Amen. I think this is what Taurus season is really coming in to teach us 100%. All right. So Karen got our member reading for tonight. Karen said she's feeling ridiculously unmotivated to work on your website to promote your passion. Already paid for it too, feeling pathetic. Honestly, Karen, like I'm getting to not beat yourself up too much because building the website is something that is not like your forte. Like it's just like, because you're going to have to research it. I feel like you're doubting your ability to do it. And you're going to be like, I know it's not going to look as good as, if I paid somebody else to do it. But like the message here is just because it's your passion doesn't mean that creating the website for it is the same energy. Like it's a completely different skill set. It's a completely different thing that you have to do. It's like the boring, monotonous work that you have to do with owning a business. So they're trying to say, like, don't feel like just because it's related to your business that you have to be passionate about it. It's just a separate annoying thing that you got to do. I'm hearing to just like purposely carve out a time to do it and get it done the first thing in the day. Like say, all right, Friday, I'm going to get my coffee. It's going to be the first thing that I'm going to do, but don't feel like you have to do it all at once. Like they're saying to like dedicate like an allotted time to it. I'm getting like very business related information right now, but like choose 30 minutes of your day every single morning, or maybe not every single morning, like every Friday until it gets done. I feel like you'll burn yourself out if you try to do it all at once. But if you at least feel like you're making progress, that's all that matters. But let me pull one card to see if there's anything else you need to know about it. Like the overall energy is like, oh, I'm feeling pathetic. I don't want to do it. And excuse me, your guides are like, well, yeah, that's not what you're passionate about. Duh. It's like cleaning toilets. Nobody wants to do it, but you have to. And I got take a reality check. Full moon in Capricorn. I feel like this is take a reality check in the sense of like, you know, it's crappy. You know, it needs to get done. Just carve out time to do it. And don't like overwhelm yourself with it. Awesome. That was the member reading for tonight. So, and now I said we will do one last free reading. So if you stuck around, we will do a guessing game. I will say something that I'm thinking of, and then you will get the reading. So let's do that when I catch up on the chat. You're welcome, Priya. All right. Okay. I am thinking of a color. If you can think of the color that I'm thinking of, then you get a reading. Keeping it simple. Bam. Silly rabbit, you got it. Blue. I'll show you which one I was specifically looking at. This is, crap. I cannot remember the crystal name. Can you see that under the light though? Like how sparkly this is. It's like a really dark blue crystal with like super, super pretty sparkles in it. Don't focus on me. Focus. You can sort of see it. I love these. I have an orange one. There's like an orange version and a blue version. And I can't remember. I think the blue version has to do with like public image and like celebrity status, I think is what this one. And the orange one is, I have that as a bracelet, and it's, I think about confidence in my memory. Oh my gosh. Your waiting paid off, silly rabbit. Disassociate from my passion. Yes. Happy dance. All right, and this is the last reading we will be doing for tonight. So I'm going to wait for Silly Rabbit's question, but feel free to subscribe. And if you want to know when I will be live next, check that out in the description down below. I have an events list, new video coming out Friday. I've been so stupid excited for this video, and I think it's because it's something that I actually want to create. Not saying that the other videos aren't what I want to create, but this is something like more fun and less informational and about like me and my personal life. And I got a reading from a psychic that I absolutely adore. Like it was a really expensive reading. And I asked about like career and work and just kind of like my YouTube channel in general. And like one of the big things that she said was like share more of your personal stuff. And she kind of, it was a good point, a point that I make all the time of like, when you share more of who you are, you are going to attract your tribe. And so I think the tribe that I'm attracting, obviously you guys are fantastic, but in a more like generic sense, like to the new people to my channel, they're just coming in to get a quick piece of information and then leave. But I think really for the people that want to stick around and want to support me, it's all about, you know, showing them signaling who I am and, you know, what I'm about, because then you identify with that person and you're like, oh, wow, I think the same things. And then, and I think some of you guys already do, especially those of you on my live nights. I feel like you guys see me probably the most out of anybody on all my platforms. But why am I sharing this? I just thought it was very helpful because I was already thinking about doing some more personal stuff on my channel. I've done it in the past, but it always performed really badly. So I was like, oh, well, I shouldn't do that anymore. But that's the thing about analytics is really, you just got to make what you want to make and not get into the analytics of it. So I started doing that with my podcast, actually. And then when I got this reading from the psychic, she was like, you know, full permission to do it. She's like, I want you to not feel like I'm pushing you, but I feel like that's what you should do. And she even pulled the card like, your tribe won't show up until you do. And I was like, oh, it just hit me like lightning. What is this point? The point is that this video coming up Friday, I feel like is on track with that. I feel like my new podcasts are on track with that. And I'm going to be mixing it in a little bit to my videos. It's not going to completely turn into like all vlogs, but it's going to be a mix of both. Anyway, that's my rant. But yeah, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, TikTok. And I've got a podcast as well. All of that is in the link tree down below. So just giving that to those of you, if you pop out before I chat and do this final reading with Silly Rabbit. Also, actually, I wanted to just make a quick announcement. Okay, yeah, 2 announcements. One, our live night next week is going to be members only. So if you want to join us for that, it is you just sign up on my Patreon and you'll get a special link for that. You're going to get all sorts of other perks too at that level. You basically get everything at that level and below. Excuse me. What was my second announcement? What was it? It'll come to me. All right, Silly Rabbit, guidance for my career. I feel like my boss is hard to work with, makes me feel like leaving that group ASAP, but I'm also starting my own private practice too. I immediately felt really good about that. Any advice on how to manage both? Ooh. I think the me feeling good about that is probably resonating. Excuse me, I need water. I'm definitely resonating with how you're doing that. I think it's a really good balance is what I'm hearing from your guides. Like, you're staying where you're at to help pay the bills, but you're making plans for the next steps. I just want to pull something about your boss and how you can work better with him. That relationship just needs to be torn from the ground up, unfortunately, which you may or may not be able to do. But that's the message, is it needs to really be transformed. But I think the positive of this is that it does have potential. It's saying that, you know, this is where you're at, but this is where it could be. So not maybe just shifting into this relationship could get better and setting that as your intention instead of my boss is hard to work with. Maybe just a intention shift around that can help with him specifically. But as far as advice on how to manage both, take a breather. So I'm hearing that it's important to just take breaks. Like, don't overwhelm yourself so that you're like doing this work 8 hours a day and then coming home and doing this work for another couple hours. And you might not even really be able to do that with that you do, but not beating yourself up if you take a day off from moving forward in the direction of your private practice is what I'm hearing. Or taking a breather from, I'm also hearing this from your current job, like making the days that you take off, you know, if you have like vacation days or something like that, using that to try to help build that private practice. And I'm just hearing marketing loud and clear. Like, marketing I'm hearing is the fastest way that you're going to get out of that job and into this new job. Because if you've got enough clients, you're going to be able to pay the bills. I'm hearing that like space is an issue. I'm hearing to get creative with that. you might be able to do it out of your home more than you think. And I'm saying these things because I sort of know Silly Rabbit. I know Silly Rabbit's career, so I have a little bit more context here. I got time for a nap again. I'm hang on. Okay, I think I understand this now. Okay, so I have time for a nap. I pulled this card as a clarifier, which is Yin, which is all about receiving. And then I also pulled the Happy card. This deck I've probably had, it's not my first deck, but it's one of the longest ones I've had. And I freaking love this. It's such a good, not generic, but it's like better than generic, but I can use it for almost any type of reading. And the images are just beautiful. But what I think this is saying, Silly Rabbit, is that focus on what makes you happy in each moment. So if you are feeling very stressed out for work and what would make you happy is taking a breather, taking a night off, do it. If what is making you happy is stopping for the day and then focusing on your private practice, do it. Just feel it out day by day and ask yourself what makes you happiest? Where do you want to spend your time and energy? What would make you happiest doing right now? Is it that you need a break? Is it that you want to work on your private practice? Is that, whatever it is, it's less about being regimented and more about, it's going to take time to build. So you don't want to burn yourself out trying to do both. You just want to go where you're guided in each moment. I hope that makes sense. Oh gosh. I've been talking too long. My throat's getting really dry. Time for a nap. Yep. Hello, Lucinda. Alrighty, you guys. I think I really need to stop talking, especially because I've got a reading in the morning. So I might not hang out as long tonight, especially because I need to get some rest. But thank you so much for joining me. I will see you patrons next week for a member live night. And again, I forgot to mention too at the beginning that on Fridays when I put up my video, when they premiere, usually I hang out, almost all the time I hang out in the chat to answer any questions that you might have. I realized that some people were like, oh, what? This is happening? And that's like a thing I do every Friday. So really you can chat with me on Tuesdays and Fridays, but there was something else that I wanted to share that I just completely forgot about. I can't remember. Anyways, of course, thank you guys. I will see you all next time. Bye.